Hello gamers, Magehammer here for another edition of Tonight on Magehammer's Game Table. And tonight we have episode 3 of my homebrew post-apocalyptic RPG playtest slash game session. The name of the game is Six Dice Wastelands. And I want to tell you all that I have made some adjustments to the rules going forward. For those of you that have not watched my first 2 episodes, it's been, like I said, this is kind of a playtest process, so I'm, making changes as we go to see what's working, what isn't, while also having a really good time playing a game that I designed that I have a lot of fun playing. So please go ahead back and watch those first 2 episodes before you come to this one, or just go ahead and keep watching this one if you want, but it is a continuing story. So you've been warned, and now let's move on. So for those of you that have been following along, I have changed how mutations attack. So before, I was tying mutations to their strength, agility, or mind traits, attributes, but I decided to completely remove them from the attributes for the most part, and for attacks at least, for mutations that are attacks, and have them be power level attacks. So every mutation, as you have maybe figured out by now, has a power level, and that's indicated by the number of dice here that were allocated to it at character creation. Mutants start with 6 dice to attribute to mutations, and mutated animals begin with 3 dice. And you allocate as you see fit. I was a fan, and then I wasn't a fan of the random mutation tables from the old Gamma World games, which this game, of course, is a spiritual ancestor of, or a spiritual descendant of. And so I decided to allow people to pick their mutations, because frankly, by the time we were done playing any of the post-apocalyptic games I've ever played that have been based on Gamma World, in the end, I let my players choose the mutations they want anyway. And we just talk about what's going to work, what isn't. Is that too much? No, not that mutation, that kind of thing. It's kind of like, a little bit of a collaboration as far as what their characters were going to do and what was going to work for my campaign. Now, to be fair, I have only run 4 post-apocalyptic role-playing campaigns, but I still think that's pretty good, I think, over the years. Anyway, so I decided to make the mutations have a power level attack. So they just roll their power level dice for an attack, and that is the attack. And unless they have a specific kind of defense, the successes cause certain damage, and kind of reminiscent of how my spells work in my 6 Dice Fantasy RPG, except my 6 Dice Fantasy RPG spells are based on a mind check. Here, it's going to be a power level check. And it's also because you can have up to, you could have up to 6 dice in one of those, then that's a pretty potent attack without any kind of defense. So, and that's why the staminas are, I've raised the stamina levels in this game. After this game, also, this particular session, I also plan on advancing the characters. If you watched my 6 Dice Fantasy series, you saw that I did advancements on the characters as we were going forward. The advancement system is pretty much identical to 6 Dice Fantasy for 6 Dice Wastelands. And you will see the results of that before next session, if these characters survive. Okay, so all of that rules talk out of the way, let's get right into the story. So when last we left our heroes, and our heroes are Cherry Red, she is a human, Catmandu, mutated animal cat genotype, Tester Mon, mutant with psychic abilities, mental mutations, Gronk, a mutant with physical mutations. He has toxin resistance, larger, and also has energy absorption, fire. So their life totals are these dice here. And in the last episode, they returned kind of successfully from a city where they were tasked with finding an artifact that generates unlimited energy, or at least energy for a very long time, for their community, their village that they come from. Well, in the process of pulling that ancient artifact and trying to figure out how it works and how to get it out of the ruins of the city where they found it, They broke it, but at least it didn't blow up in their faces. So they brought it back to their village, and the village elder was very appreciative and has turned it over to the few tech-oriented members of their village that they have. Scientists, I guess. That's not quite the word that they would use, but fixers, we'll call them. They turn them over to their fixers to try to fix it. Well, in today's episode, it begins with them getting called by the leader, the elder of their community. He brings them in and says, well, good news and bad news. And so the good news is the energy device is fixable according to our fixers. However, the bad news is you are going to need to go back out into the wilderness, to a ruin, to find the piece that will make it work. A specific piece was broken, and now you need to go get it a replacement. Fortunately, one of the fixers on his rite of passage remembers seeing an energy device such as this one in a building not too far from our settlement. It is in a building ruin, not far, well, relatively not far from here. He has drawn you a map. He's going to provide it to you. Gronk and Testermon, I would like to hire you to accompany Cherry Red and Kathmandu on this mission so that they can find it and bring it back, because the council has decided that they are not going to be completely accepted into the community until they return with a piece that will make this machinery work, since they broke it. I know it doesn't seem fair, but unfortunately sometimes our existence is not fair. So you better make sure you get what you need to get and find it. The map is very detailed and will lead you there. It will lead you out to the ancients, one of the ancients' pathways, and then that will, of course, then it will turn off into the wilderness, and it will be amongst a forest. The building hopefully is not completely overrun by now, but that's the best we can do at this point. So Lots is riding on your mission, your status in our village, Gronk, Testermon, how much you get paid. Of course, you get to keep any loot you find in the ruins, but all of that is on the line. So may the ancients watch over you. You leave immediately. Any questions? They have no questions. They understand the stakes, and they set out into the wilderness. The map was given to them by the elder, and they follow the map, and they come to the beginning, one of the roads of the ancients, the pathways they call them. And so they begin down that road after a short amount of time in the wilderness surrounding their village, which is still fairly patrolled by their own village watchmen. So it was not necessary to roll for an encounter. But now, as they get further from their community and make their way down this ancient's pathway into the wilderness, they are going to need to make some rolls. Now, on the map, it appears as if the turnoff from the Ancients Road is 3 days out. And so I'm going to roll 3 times a day and once each night for an encounter. So they are easing on down the road. The pathway of the ancients. So I'm going to roll. I pulled out my Q workshop, post-apocalyptic themed dice for this series. This is the first video in which I'm featuring them. I finally found where I had stored them, so I'm very excited about that. I have 5 of them. One is translucent, and it is very difficult to read, I would think, on camera. So I may not be rolling it as much. It may actually be used as a prop otherwise. But I probably will be rolling these. Those green ones are pretty hard to see. But anyway, they're fun. I like them. As you know, I also have the Triskelion, the Biohazard Triskelion dice that I got at one of my local hobby shops. And then I got these cool Gale Force 9 skull dice. The skull is a 6 on those dice. And then the characters, I will be using my Warhammer 40,000 dice. The skulls on these dice are 1s. So that means usually if they roll a 1, they're suffering. So those are the dice we're featuring tonight. If you have any questions about those dice, put them in the comments below. For encounters and so forth, I'm using these, which I got I got on a Kickstarter for a dice bag that I've been using for my Six Dice fantasy dice. Anyway, I got a full set of adventure dice. They're pretty cool. So those are being used for encounters and so forth. Okay, so if you're a gamer out there, I'm sure you enjoyed that discussion about dice. So back to our adventure. The party is traveling along. Let's see if they... first day, ooh, a 1. So about halfway through their first day, there's an encounter. Let's see what they encounter. In addition, I've converted more of the Gamma World creatures to my system. So there might be some different creatures popping up here that may not have had a chance to pop up in the past adventures, past 2 adventures. And, you know, I barely scratched the surface of the creatures we have. So, all right, so that's 29. Well, I know what that's going to be. So the upper level of my roll is going to be, there are other mutants, humans, or mutated animals. So I'm going to roll on a sub-table in my homemade encounter things to see what kind. And it is going to be mutated animals. So we're going to run into Stripes, a mutated animal tiger, and Ursa, a mutant animal bear. They're going to ambush the party. The party looks pretty formidable, though. So I'm just gonna see how it plays. They're gonna ambush the party anyway. They're desperate. They need tech for their own communities, so they're going to engage. Okay, so we're going to make a mind test for everybody. Don't think any of them have telepathy. No, just mental blast, infravision, toxin resistance. Yeah, so none of them have telepathy. So I'm going to have them make mind tests. And since these are mutated animals, they're pretty well hidden in the surrounding trees that surround the ancient's path. So our heroes have to make mind tests of 6 or better to detect them and avoid an ambush. So Gronk has a 1 mind die, Cherry Red has 2 mind dice, Testermon has 3 mind dice, and Kathmandu has 1 mind dice. So we're going to roll all of them. If any of these come up as 6, they will have sensed the ambush. And believe it or not, Gronk, well, look at all those 1s. Holy moly. That's terrible. Anyway, it's funny though. Another one. So Gronk says, something ahead. And it's initiative as the mutants attack. So initiative in this system, everybody makes an agility test. If they roll a 4+, they act before the enemies. If they roll 1 through 3, they go after. And Kathmandu has 3 dice. And the rest of them, I believe, have 2 agility. So that's what we're going with. So any of these that are 4, they go before. Did I go on, stay on the camera? Good. So he goes. Gronk is going before. Kathmandu is going after. All right, so everybody except Kathmandu is going before the creatures. But only Gronk senses them. He doesn't quite see them. So he is... I don't really have a hold action in this game. I guess I could do that. So in other words, I think what's going to happen is he's just going to give up his initiative. That's how that's going to work. So he'll give up his initiative because he can't see them. Testermon can't see him. He has to see him be able to mental blast any of them. Same with Cherry Red to be able to shoot her pistol, and Kathmandu to be able to shoot her crossbow. So they're all going to go after, but they at least are not surprised. Ursa has a mutation called Heat Generation. She's going to engage her Heat Generation mutation, which starts to make her body hot enough to be able to do fire damage if anybody comes in contact with her. That's going to be her action, is to activate that mutation, so she's actually going to stay hidden for now. And then Stripes has Keen Senses, Energy Reflection, Cold. I don't think he has to worry about that here, but he has a crossbow, so he's going to shoot it from out of the woods at, well, Gronk. They're not really afraid of, well, they're afraid of Gronk, and he doesn't think crossbow is going to be able to bring down big guy yet, but then he could weaken him. So what I think I'll do is I'll have Stripes make a last-minute decision on who they're going to who's going to shoot at, and we'll roll a random die. So 1 to 4, re-rolling on 5, 6. So that's a 6, 6, another 6, a 5, another 5, 1. So Gronk. She decides to shoot at Gronk. So she has 5 dice with this crossbow. I'm just going to fire it off. So 6s are 2 successes in combat or attack tests. So she's got 4 successes. Gronk's defense is he has a car hood press plate. He gets to roll 4 dice, canceling successes on 4s. And so cancels 1 and takes 3 damage. So crossbow bolt did more damage than you would have thought. My cat Coco is saying hello. Then it's the party's turn. They saw where the crossbows came from, but they still can't see them through the dense forest off the sides of the Ancient's pathway. So they're going to go take cover of their own, except for Gronk. He's going to run towards where the crossbow came from. The rest of them are going to run into the forest and wait until Gronk is going to break on through exactly where the crossbow came from, and swing his railroad tie club. However, Stripes moved after firing the crossbow. So it's initiative. We'll see how this plays out. Hide and seek, if you will. So Gronk actually goes after this time. Cherry Red before. Kathmandu before. And Testermon after. So the 2 mercenaries go after, and our 2 villagers go before. So this is getting kind of ridiculous, Cherry Red says. So she says, I think we just run away. So she starts down the road and takes the sprint action. And you could move your movement, which in her case is 30 feet, plus take a sprint action, which is another 30 feet for 60 feet. I guess in this game we should be using meters, right? So what is that? That's 60 feet is 20 meters. Anyway, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. So she's running away. Kathmandu's like, well, I can't let you leave by yourself. And Testermon's like, well, we're leaving, big guy. And Gronk, he's frustrated, but he follows along. So that, but they go after. Sorry, forgot. The two mercenaries go after. So Gronk's like, and so in the meantime, Ursa has heat generation is now activated, so it's building up to 2 dice of heat damage. So she's going to attack with her claws, and if both hit, or if she gets any hits, she has hugged him. We'll do, and we'll keep him tight. The problem is that he's actually bigger than her, so she's just going to claw at him and try to take him down and help with the heat generation. So the heat generation mutation. So the mutant can only use it. Okay, so she may use it as a reaction, anything that comes into physical contact or as an unarmed attack. As a reaction, it counts as automatically successful attack with number of successfuls equal to the mutation power level. As a melee attack test using the mutation power level, all damage caused by the mutation is fire damage. Okay, so I'm going to rule in this case that she is going to get close to him and the heat is going to act as an attack. But it's not quite built up yet, so to its full extent of 3 dice. So she instead is going to attack with her claws. So she's actually going to engage Gronk and claw him. So she gets 4 successes. Gronk has a defense of 4, and holy moly, only avoids 1 of them, so he takes 3 damage. He's taking a beating from this bear. And then Tester Mon can see the bear now as it's revealed itself at the edge of the wood, attacking Gronk, so he unleashes a mental blast. All right, so it has a power level attack of 3 dice. Successes, I believe I made it now 3+ because there's fewer dice being rolled on the attack. And we'll see if 3+ is too powerful. 6s do not double. No, if it's an energy attack, actually, if it's an energy attack, energy attacks in this game have successes on 3+ and do score extra successes on 5+ or 4+. So we're going to say mental attack is not that kind of, but I will say that it doubles on 6s. It gets additional success on 6s. So rolls a 1, a 2, and a 4. So 1 success, that does 1d3 damage to Ursa. 2 damage to Ursa from a mental blast. And then Testermon starts moving towards the villagers, their party. Gronk takes a swing now at Ursa, and with his larger mutation and a heavy weapon, he's rolling 7 dice and additional attack successes on 5s. So that is abominable. He only gets 3 successes. Ursa has a defense of, we're going to say 3 dice, and avoids 2 and takes 1 damage. 1 damage, a glancing blow, if you will. And yes, so track it over here. All right, so now it's initiative. Oh, Stripes. Stripes fires his crossbow at one of the fleeing heroes. I guess we can call them heroes if they're fleeing. At Catmandu, since Catmandu is one of his kind, he has a slight amount of bitterness. So 5 dice with the crossbow and 3 successes. You know, they're moving away swiftly, but they're not just in a full rout. So I'm going to say that Catmandu gets to roll a defense score, which is 4 dice. Trying to cancel 3 successes. And only cancels 1, takes 2 damage. So Catmandu takes 2 damage. Now it's initiative. Oh my gosh, that's so many ones. All right, so everybody but Catmandu goes before the enemy. Well, Testermon is going to Mental Blast Ursa again. So 2, 3, 3 successes, and does 1, 3, 6 damage. And then moves over here. Cherry Red moves down the road. And then Gronk takes a swing at Ursa, trying to come back on the backswing. That's a little better. 7 successes. Ursa only has a defense of 3 dice. Saving on 4 up, so 2, so it's 5 damage, and that's enough to fell the bear mutant. And then Gronk moves up to his friends. One last crossbow shot out of the woods from ambush position by Stripes, and only 2 successes. And Catmandu avoids none of it and takes 2 more damage. But then Catmandu runs away. And that is initiative. Whew. So it's this time it is Testermon who goes after the enemy. So we'll see how that plays out. Gronk is leaving, continuing sprint action. Crossbow bolt flies at Testermon. Holy crap. 7 successes. Testermon's armor, he's wearing leather armor, and absorbs only 1 of them, so takes 6 damage. And then Testermon runs away. So they continue down the road after a little bit, but before they do so, Testermon has Healing Touch and can use Healing Touch up to a number of times per day equal to its power level. So he's going to use it on himself. His power level in Healing Touch is a 3D. So he's going to roll 3D and is going to heal 1d3 points of stamina per success roll. Rolls 1 success on himself, and heals 3. Not quite back up to full, but okay. Also then, touches Gronk. There, that's a little better. 4 successes. Woo, healing 12. Nice. So Gronk is back to full 13 stamina. And he has 1 more use of that during the day, so he's going to hold off on that, even though Catmandu is injured, but not too bad. So let's see. Second and third encounter times, no ones. Okay, so the nighttime no encounter. Second day, 3 times. See if you can see this green die. Oh, there's an encounter in the middle of the day. So let's see what that is. As they make their way down the Ancient's pathway. 18. Okay, so oh, so the creature that I rolled is not in 4th edition. Okay, so I will just go with it. It is a up from the ground are 2 beetles, like huge beetle-like mutants, about the size of about the size of the hood of a car, let's say. They come up out of the ground and they unleash acid spit at the leader of this group as they make their way down the pathway of the Ancients. So, one of them, 2 of them, 5 dice acid spit attack. Acid is basically like an energy, so it hits on 3+, and additional successes, though, only on 5+. And shoots it right at Gronk. Spit, spit. All right, so that's a hit. Not a hit, not a hit. So that's 3 not a hit, 3 successes. And the other one gets 3 successes as well. Now, this counts as an attack. So Gronk gets his defense, which is 4 dice against the first one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Manages to dodge that acid spit. And the second one only dodges 1 and takes 2 damage from the acid. All right, so that hurts. The smell of searing flesh. Now that the ambush is over, it's initiative. These are herps. Not sure which edition those are from. They all go before the creatures, the herps. These mutated beetles that now are skittering along the ground, trying to get a hold of their next meal. All right. So Gronk runs forward, attacks the one on the right, moves forward and attacks the one on the right with his, tries to smash it, and only gets 3 successes. And he, they have 4 or 5 defense because of their tough carapace. On camera, sure. Okay. And they cancel 2 of his 3 successes, and that one takes 1 damage. All right. Then, well, mental blast. He's not sure that's going to work against them, so he moves behind a tree and whips a knife at the one on the left. So he gets Testermon with his throwing knives, gets 3 dice. Hits 2 successes. Let's see if it penetrates the carapace of the herp. Oh, it does. 1 damage. Okay. And then Cherry Red also takes some cover behind a tree that's along the side of the pathway. Fires her pistol at the one that Testermon targeted. With her pistol, she has 4 dice. And remember, if she rolls 2 ones, it jams. If there's successes, the successes go through. If there's no successes, yeah, it jams. She does not get 2 ones, but she gets 2 successes as she fires off her pistol. And the herp absorbs both those attacks. The bullet pings off of its mutated carapace. Kathmandu moves up a bit, fires crossbow bolt at the one that the other two of her smaller companions have been targeting. And Kathmandu gets 5 dice with her crossbow. And gets, that's good, 2, 4, 6 successes. And it deflects 2 of them, taking 4. They're skittering, making skittering noises. The one that is fighting, or no, yeah, the one that is fighting Gronk bites with mandibles. 4 dice. And gets 3 successes. Gronk absorbs 3 of them and takes no damage from the mandibles. And then the other one spits at Cherry Red. That's 4 dice, I believe. Nope, 5 dice for acid spit. And gets, 2, 4, 5 successes. Cherry Red's defense, she has a chain shirt and shield. So she has a 5 defense. And she 1, 2, 3 cancels out 3 of them, takes 1 damage. First injury of the night. A minor one. 'Tis a flesh wound. 'Tis but a flesh wound. All right. So now it's initiative. These herps are ugly-looking beetle mutants. So, Testermon goes after, Gronk goes after, and Kathmandu and Cherry Red go before. So Cherry Red shoots off another pistol shot. And gets 2 successes. Doesn't jam, almost though. And the creature easily, well, not easily, but the carapace absorbs the attack, so there's no damage done. And then yeah, Kathmandu fires off a light crossbow. Ugh, 1 success. Aw. And that is easily avoided by the herp. Then they attack. So 4 dice mandibles on Gronk. And gets 3 successes. Gronk. Ugh, doesn't get any of them. Okay, and then the other one shoots acid spit at Cherry Red. Now, I forgot Cherry Red's behind a tree, so Cherry Red gets, it can't hit Cherry Red except on 5s and 6s. So 4s are not successes. But with the, 4s are not, 4s are success. Oh, I guess it's normal then. I forgot that acid spit hits on 3+ and does additional successes on 5s. I haven't been doing that. I'll have to go back and watch the video later to see how badly I screwed that up. In the meantime, chaos of combat, as we used to say in my gaming group and still do. We're going to let that acid spit fly out, but only scoring successes on 4 because of cover. And that is only 2 successes anyway, but an additional success on 5. So 3 successes. Cherry Red. Got she a chain shirt and she, oh my gosh, takes 3 damage. Woo! These herps are getting to be nasty perps. Now Gronk is going to try to smash his with his railroad tie club. That's great. 2, 4, 6, 7. 7 successes. Onto the carapace of the creature. It absorbs 2 of the 7, takes 5 damage. It's a solid punch, but the beetle is still going. And then Testermon is going to walk up to Cherry Red, and since it's a new day, has three healing checks with his heal touch. And did I make it 3 or did I make it 4 plus healing touch? D4. So not able to muster the power. So I suppose that's a question now for playtesting. If you fail a power level check, does it count as a use of the power? Or since energy was not expelled, I guess, energy did not come into play, should it count? I'm going to say he did use it. So for now, that's going to count as a use of it during the day. Okay. So now it is initiative. I think it's kind of important for an initiative because these things, I think they could do some damage if they're not careful, especially with that acid spit. Well, looks like Cherry Red's going after and everyone else is going before. So that's not terrible. Cherry Red is after, everybody else is before. Catmandu, crossbow. That's 5 dice. So 4 successes. Oh, it only absorbs 1 of them. So it takes 3 damage. I think I knocked over Testermon. I don't think it's been hurt this. Yeah, okay. I think we're good. I guess I'll go back on the video and see what his stamina was anyway. All right. Testermon's going to attempt to heal Cherry Red again. Oh my gosh. Horrible. Okay, so I guess that's the second attempt. We're counting it as the second attempt of the day. It only gets 1 more. Cherry Red is shooting at the herp. Oh, yes, that is a solid ping. 6 successes. Let's see if it's got it in it. And it only 2, that's 4, still up. These bugs are hard to kill. And who was going after? Gronk was last. I don't remember. The mind is moving on so many things. So Catmandu will fire light crossbow. We'll let the herps attack, and then Gronk will get his attack. Sure, that's the way initiative's going to work this time. Oh, I'm losing it. So moves position, fires off a crossbow. I think I'm losing it. 3 successes. And it easily avoids the crossbow damage from the crossbow bolt. Now they attack, and then it'll be Gronk's attack, I guess. If I did it in the right order, I don't know. So one of them does mandibles on Gronk. Gets 4 successes. Gronk has 4 defense, so. And avoids 2 of them, takes 2 damage. And then the other one, acid spits at Testermon. And hits on 3s. Testermon does not have cover, so 1, 2, double on 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. And Testermon has a 4 defense and absorbs 3 of them. So I believe takes 1 damage. Okay. Now Gronk attacks, trying to take his down. Oh my god. 1 success on 7 dice. I love it. I love this system. It's so much fun. All right, so I think easily that carapace is going to avoid that. And it does. All right, initiative. I'm really gonna pay attention to initiative this time. All right, here we go. All right, good. Everybody's going before the creatures. I don't have to keep track of anything extra. I'm gonna have to put up some. I'm gonna maybe have to set up some kind of initiative tracker. I thought I could handle with only five initiative slots to worry about, but oh well. Apparently I can't. In the meantime, Gronk is gonna take a slam. And 2, 4, 6, 7 successes. And his creature absorbs 3 of them. That's still 4. And he brings it down. Okay. The other herp, seeing that, burrows back into the ground and leaves. Oh, wait, they still get an attack on it. So, pistol. So she gets 3 successes with her pistol shot. All 4s, actually. Rolled 4 4s. That's crazy. And the creature has 5 dice defense because of the carapace and absorbs 3 of them. And it looks like it's trying to burrow back into the ground, but Kathmandu is going to let fly a crossbow shot. And gets 2 successes. And the creature, as it's trying to burrow out of the way, absorbs that easily. It pings off of it. And Testermon is like, for luck, he'll fling a throwing knife. And 2 successes. But I have a feeling this creature will avoid that. Oh, only avoided 1, takes 1 damage. And that's enough to take it down. So the knife pounded into its eye and took it out before it was able to fully burrow down into the earth. Whew. That was a fight. All right, so Testermon is fairly wounded. So is Gronk. Testermon only has 1 more use of a healing touch. She's going to use it, or he's going to use it on Gronk. Well, that's good. So 4 successes. And 2, 5, 6 so heals him 8, which brings him back to full 13. But they're injured. But if they rest the night, they'll be able to get, what are my resting rolls? 1d, half their, I think it's half their stamina back. I believe that's what I'm running with currently. They can take short rests. I stole the short rest system from 5e. And they can gain up to half their stamina they had lost up to that point, rounded up. And then full stamina after a night's rest. So that works out. Okay, so that was the second encounter. So now the nighttime, see if they have an encounter in the night. They do not. So they get fully rested. And that brings them back to their full hit points. Oh, Testermon is actually... Kathmandu is that one. Oh, well. Either way. So they're back to full stamina. Because it is stamina. I like the idea of stamina. That's why I worked in... because hit points are always supposed to be fairly abstract. So I thought stamina actually is a better term than hit points. But essentially they work the same way throughout so many systems. Testermon has 11. Stamina, Cherry Red has 12. Testermon has 11, and Gronk has 13. All right, on the final day of travel, let's see if they have any more encounters. They do. In the morning. Let's see what they encounter. All right, I think this whole session of the adventure, I think, is going to be their travel to the ruin. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so let's see what they encounter in the morning of their 3rd day of travel through the through the wasteland wilderness of Gamma Terra. All right, now we're gonna make that many of them. Yes, let's go that many of them. And let's see if they have pistols, if any of them have a pistol. So let's roll. One of them has a pistol. Okay. Might get some more ammo for Cherry Red. So they're walking down the road. the pathway. And once again, now, these critters are pretty good at hiding, so I'm going to have them make a mind test to be able to perceive. Now, let's say they are... they are paying attention to their surroundings. They know this is a dangerous, so they need a 5+ on a mind test to be able to detect this ambush, because they are going to be ambushed. Okay. All right, so 5. So yes. They're like, I see some movement. So it's initiative. Some of the trees are moving. All right, Gronk goes after. Move that over here. Testermon goes after, but Catmandu and Cherry Red go before. All right, so based on the moving trees that are on either side of them, Cherry Red is going to fire aimlessly into where she saw some trees move, and that means she's only going to hit on a 6, which means if she does hit, though, it has double successes. So she fires her pistol into the woods. Oof. So she does not appear to hit anything. Testermon is looking, trying to mental blast something that it can't mental blast. Catmandu fires a crossbow into the same area where that went and looks like has a possibility it may actually hit something. These things have that. And nope, doesn't hit anything. Maybe here's a cling off of metal. And so, like I said, Testermon goes after them anyway, and so does Gronk. So they, a pistol shot rings out and tries to take down Testermon. They don't like the looks of him. And it jams. The pistol jams. It rolled 2 ones. They got 1 success that Testermon has to defend against, and defends easily. Pistol flies by his ear, and then it jams. So the pistol, they'll have to take a round to take out a pistol. And then 4 more come out and attack the party from behind. So one of them attacks Catmandu with short sword and gets 1 success. Catmandu has 4 defense. And avoids the attack. Then let's see, that was 1 on him, 1 on Testermon. Testermon, that's 3 successes. Testermon rolls, excuse me, Coco. Testermon rolls 4 dice in defense and absorbs 2 of the attacks and takes 1 damage. Down to 10. Woo-hoo. All right. And then, so we got, these creatures look like mutated raccoons. They're known as dabbers to you old Gamma World grognards out there. So there's 1 on him, 1 on her, 1 on him, 1 on her. And misses Cherry Red. And then I'll have 1 attack Gronk for fun. That's 1 brave dabber. Oh my goodness. 4 successes. Gronk, what are you going to do? And Gronk only missed 1, so it takes 3 damage from that short sword attack. Got him pretty good. All right, so Now Gronk takes a swing at the one that attacked him. The very brave dabber that attacked him. And it has 4 successes. And the dabber avoids 1, takes 3 damage. And then Testermon mentally blasts the one that's right in front of him. And does 1d3 damage. 3 damage to that one. It grabs its head in pain, but continues to fight. Now it's initiative. Woohoo! Ding ding chick chick ding ding chick chick ding 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 ding. All right, so Testermon goes after everybody else goes before. Gronk is not happy. He's being attacked by little raccoon-like creatures and unleashes his railroad tie on one of them that's fighting him. So that's 4 successes. And it takes 3 damage. Still fighting. You know, tough little critters. And then next up is Cherry Red. She swipes out with her battle axe she has. She really likes fighting with that battle axe. And she does 3 successes. And the dabber she's fighting takes 2 damage. Okay. And then Kathmandu attacks. She could attack with her claws, or she could swing with her short sword. She just like drops the light crossbow at with its strap and attacks this dabber with her claws. And she does 3 successes. And that dabber avoids 2 and takes 1 hit. So that's 1 damage. All right. Now, finally, Testermon. Oh, no, they attacked before Testermon. Okay, so 2 of them attack Gronk. And 1 success and 4 successes. So the 1 success, Gronk avoids. And then, do you mind? Those are my player characters. Leave my player characters alone. What the Coco did? Just mauled my character sheet. Oh well, kitty, kitty, kitty. All right, and then, okay. All right, I don't know if I can't remember if I rolled or not. Gonna roll to avoid the 1 attack. Does, no problem. Okay, gonna roll to attack the 4 success attack, and avoids 2 of them. Takes 2 more damage. Okay. Then 1 on Cherry Red. We'll say the white one's on Cherry Red. The black ones are on Testermon. And the Triskelion, for fun, we'll roll the Q Workshop post-apocalyptic dice. All right, so the attack on Cherry Red, she has to defend 2. And she does. She's 3, actually. Okay, that was her there. Then the attack on Testermon, 3 successes he has to avoid. 3 successes, and gets 3 successes, avoids that attack. Now, Cherry Red, on the other hand, 2, 3, has to avoid 3 successes. Oh, wait, didn't she? Kathmandu. Kathmandu has to avoid his successes, yeah. And that is 4 defense. Okay. And does. Whew. Okay. Now Kathmandu mentally blasts the one in front of her. Did I put a limit on mental blast during the day? I mean, your mind might get tired. I think there is a limit on it. I think there's a limit on most of these attacks. Mental blast every 3 turns, so every 18 seconds. So can't do a mental blast this turn. So instead, attacks with a short sword. And only gets 2 successes. And the creature absorbs that, no problemo. All right, back to initiative. The dabbers are dancing around, their little raccoon faces. So Gronk goes after Gronk and Testermon go after, and Kathmandu and Cherry Red go before. So that being said, Cherry Red attacks with her battle axe. She loves that battle axe. And gets 3 successes. And oof, the one she's fighting takes 3 damage, still up and fighting. Okay, so she's done. And then Kathmandu attacks with her claws, straight up feral, and does 4 successes. And her opponent only absorbs 1 of those and takes 3 damage. All right. That's Kathmandu. Then they attack. 2 of them attack Gronk. Woo! One of them completely failed to land any kind of strike. And the other one he has to save against 4. And saves 1 of them. So it takes 3 damage. He's down to 5 stamina. Big guy is getting weak. And then the white one's going to attack Cherry Red. The black one's attacking Testermon. And these will be attacking Kathmandu. So Cherry Red, Testermon, and Kathmandu. All right, so Kathmandu is going to roll 4 dice to try to avoid the attack. And only absorbs 1 of them, so it takes 1 damage. Okay. Then Testermon has to save against 2 and does easily, wish that were an attack. And then Cherry Red has to go against 3 of them. And she has 5 dice. And she does absorb 3 of those successes, so no hits, no damage. Excellent. Now, so there's only the second one after a mental blast, so attacks with a short sword. And 2 successes. And 2 successes absorbed. And then Gronk swings at the wounded one fighting him and gets 2, 4, 6, 7, 9 successes. That might be the end of that one. It stops 1, but he pretty much obliterated that dabber. Initiative. All right, so Cherry Red goes after. Well, I guess this should be after. Kathmandu goes before. Gronk goes before. And Testermon goes before. Gronk is going to swing at the other one that he's been fighting. 4, 5 successes. That won't be enough to take this creature down, but hopefully he can do some damage. And 2, so it takes 3 damage. First time it's been hit. He's barely dodging the horrible railroad tie as it swings towards its head. Testermon every 3 turns. So he is going to make a mental blast at the one that he is fighting. And gets 2 successes. So that is 2d3 damage. Oh, 6 damage. And that takes his down. It melts its brain. Drops to the ground dead. All right. So that leaves us with, yes, okay. That leaves us with 3 of the dabbers still fighting. And then Kathmandu attacks with their claws on her opponent and gets 3 successes. And it avoids 2 of them, takes 1 damage. Okay. Now they attack. There's 1 left on Gronk. 1 success. Gronk should be able to easily avoid that, and does. And then attack on Cherry Red. 1 success. Cherry Red should be able to easily... You're on my character sheet, Coco. I'm pretty sure Cherry Red has 5 dice defense. No, 4 dice defense. All right, so avoids that attack. And then attack on Kathmandu. And 3 successes. I'm pretty sure Kathmandu has the 5 defense. And easily avoids that. Okay. Now, Cherry Red attacks with the short sword that she has. Coco, I need to see the stats. I need to see the stats. You can't... I don't know why you're choosing that to lie on. But I need to see those stats. So Cherry Red with her short sword attacks. Battle axe, right? She has the battle axe, man. You're throwing me off, Coco. You're throwing me off. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. That's pretty good. Cherry Red's tired of these dabbers in her face. Ooh, takes 4 damage. And that ends hers, drops hers to the ground. And so that brings us to initiative. Oops. Coco, you'd love to chase that die across the room, wouldn't you? I'm not going to let you. Gotcha. Okay, so initiative. What's going to happen with the dabbers? Mutated raccoons. So Gronk is going after. Cherry Red before. Kathmandu after. And Testermon before. All right, so Cherry Red attacks with her battle axe. Hers is down, so she moves over to attack the one on Kathmandu. Gets 4 successes. And, oof, takes down Kathmandu's opponent. All right, Cherry Red. Way to fight. You love that battle axe. Testermon attacks with a short sword. Oof, pretty good. 4 successes. The dabber furiously throws up its shield, tries to avoid. Oh, takes 3 damage. And that's not enough. That was the one that was attacking Gronk. Now, it makes a fighting withdrawal and runs away into the woods. And that's the one that had the pistol. So, no scavenged pistol for our party. All right, so they continue on down the road into the nighttime. And there's no encounter in nighttime. And the next day, they are going to come upon the ruin. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on this ride with me. And I hope you enjoyed that trek through the Gamma Terror wilderness as our heroes make their way towards a ruin in which hopefully the salvation of their community exists. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate all the comments. I appreciate all the views. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, here on Gamma Terra, Coco and Magehammer out.